In the heart of Yoruba land, Lagos stood as a symbol of life, vibrancy and progress. Its streets buzz with reams of people, its markets thrive, and the sound of laughter and chatter filled the air. Among the many who called this city home was Tunde, a young man who had the world at his feet. He had everything most people dreamed of: wealth, success, a beautiful wife named Bola, and 2 children who looked up to him with adoration. But Tunde had one flaw: he had forgotten the importance of prayer. His mother, Mama Titi, a wise and gentle woman who had lived through the ups and downs of life, had always stressed the importance of prayer. Tunde, she would say, never leave your home without seeking the protection and guidance of Olodumare. God, prayer is your shield, your strength, and your guidance through the world. But Tunde, young and full of ambition, dismissed her advice. He believes in his ability to achieve greatness on his own without needing anyone's help, not even God. Every morning, Tunde would wake up early, rush through his routine, and head out the door, always eager to tackle the day's challenges. There was always a business to run, a deal to close, or a meeting to attend. His days were filled with constant movement, and prayer was always something he would do later. I'm too busy for that, he would think to himself. I will pray when I get back. But Mama Titi was persistent. She would call to him as he left. Tunde, please remember to pray. The world is full of uncertainties, and prayer is the only thing that keeps us safe. One fateful morning, the world around Tunde seemed different. As he stepped out of his house, the sky was overcast, and the air thick with an unusual stillness. Lagos, a city that never slept, felt strangely quiet. People walked in silence, their heads down, and the usual hustle and bustle seemed to be missing. The vendors, who usually cut out their wares with zest, spoke in hushed tones. The energy in the air felt heavy, as if something was about to happen. But Tunde, always in a hurry, dismissed it. He had an important business meeting that he could not afford to miss. I will pray later, he muttered, as he grabbed his briefcase and stepped into his car. As he drove through the streets, the feeling of unease continued to grow, but he ignored it, telling himself it was just his imagination. He was too focused on the success waiting for him at the meeting. As Tunde approached a busy market, he saw an elderly woman selling oranges by the side of the river. Her stall was overcrowded with people, but there was a noticeable gap in the middle of the road where her basket had fallen. The moment Tunde stepped onto the path, he saw the oranges spilling onto the ground. The woman, frail and slow, stood helplessly watching as her fruit rolled away. Without a second thought, Tunde kicked the basket aside, sending the rest of the oranges scattered onto the street. Watch where you are standing, he muttered, his impatience growing. The old woman, her face lined with wisdom, slowly raised her eyes to meet his. Young man, she said, her voice steady yet full of sorrow. You are too quick to move through this world. You forget to see the signs that the world gives you. You have forgotten to pray, and it will cost you today. Tunde scoffed at her words. What nonsense, he thought, continuing his path to the meeting. He had no time for such warning. There was too much at stake, but the elderly woman's sweat lingered in his mind. He tried to shake them off, but deep down he couldn't quite get rid of the nagging feelings that something was amiss. As Tunde entered the meeting room, the atmosphere was instantly different. His business partners, usually welcoming, were now distant. They barely made eye contact and sat with their arms crossed, as if they were waiting for something. The air was tense. The smile that usually accompanied their greetings replaced with tight lips and furrowed brows. One of his oldest partners, Kunle, who had always stood by him, now looked at him with soft scorn. Tunde, he began, his voice colder than usual. I don't think we can continue with this partnership. There have been too many delays, too many broken promises. You have failed to meet the standard we agreed upon. We cannot trust you any longer. Tunde was in shock. What do you mean? He asked, his voice shaking with disbelief. This was supposed to change everything for us. You can't just walk away now. But no matter how much he pleaded, his partners remained resolute. We've made up our minds, Tunde. We are done, Kunle said, before turning his back to him. Confused, angry, and with his heart pounding in his chest, Tunde left the meeting. The world outside, once filled with excitement, now felt cold and hostile. The familiar streets of Lagos, the city he had worked so hard to conquer, now seemed foreign and unwelcoming. The vendors that once greeted him with smiles now looked away, as though they had no interest in acknowledging his presence. The once energetic hustle of the streets had turned into a silent march. Tunde returned home that evening, his mind racing. His thoughts were jumbled. Now, how could this happen? Everything was going so well, he thought, pacing back and forth in his room. I've worked too hard for this to fall apart. His mother, Mama Titi, was waiting for him, sitting quietly in the corner of the room. Her eyes were filled with concern, but there was also a sense of calmness that Tunde couldn't understand. My son, do you see now? Do you see what happens when you forget to pray? He looked at her, his face pale. Mommy, I don't understand. Everything I've worked for is falling apart. I have been careful. I have made all the right moves. Why is this happening to me? Mama Titi walked over to him, her eyes filled with compassion. Tunde, prayer is not just for time of need. It is for every day, every moment you have neglected to seek the guidance of Olodumare, the one who watches over us all. You thought you could walk this world alone, but no one can. You must pray, my son. For in prayer, we are shielded from unseen forces that affect our lives. Tunde fell to his knees, tears filling his eyes. I was wrong, Mommy. Please teach me how to pray. I don't know how to fix this. I've lost everything." His mother wraps her arms around him, pulling him close. It is never too late to seek forgiveness. Let us pray, my son, and seek guidance. Olodumare is merciful, and his protection is always available to those who turn to him. That night, Tunde knelt with his mother and prayed for the first time in years. He asked for forgiveness for his pride and his neglect of prayer. He asked for guidance to help him rebuild his life and for the strength to put God first in everything he did. As he prayed, something miraculous happened. The heavy, suffocating air around him seemed to lift. The dark cloud that hung over his life began to dissipate. He felt a warmth in his heart, a peace that he hadn't felt in years. The next day, Tunde woke up with a renewed sense of purpose. The phone rang, and to his surprise, it was Kunle, one of his partners. "Tunde, we made a mistake," Kunle said, his voice filled with regret. "We should have believed in you. Let's move forward with the deal. We have got your back." As Tunde walked through the streets of Lagos, everything felt different. People greeted him with smiles, and the city seemed to welcome him back with open arms. The weight that had hung over him was gone, replaced by a feeling of lightness and hope. From that day on, Tunde made it a point to start every day with prayer. Every morning, he would wake up early, bow his head and give thanks to Olodumare for the blessings in his life. His business grew, his relationship strengthened, and his heart found peace. He understood now that prayer is not just a routine. It was a connection to the divine forces that guided his life. And so, the people of Lagos came to understand Tunde's story. They learned that prayer is not just a formality but a lifeline, a spiritual shield that protects us from the danger and uncertainties of life.